The year is 1962. The world watches, holding its breath. A chill has descended, a fear so profound it chills to the bone. The United States and the Soviet Union, locked in an ideological struggle, stand at the precipice. Their nuclear arsenals, a terrifying testament to their power, cast a long shadow across the globe. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance. This is the story of the Cuban Missile Crisis. The heart of the crisis lies just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, Cuba. Fidel Castro's revolution, a thorn in the side of the United States, has aligned itself with the Soviet Union. This alliance, a strategic nightmare for the U.S., sets the stage for a confrontation that will push the world to the brink of nuclear war. The stakes have never been higher. The world waits, prays, and hopes for a peaceful resolution. The Cuban Missile Crisis was not an isolated event. It was the culmination of decades of mistrust, rivalry, and ideological conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War, as it came to be known, was a global chess match. Each superpower, suspicious of the other's intentions, sought to expand its sphere of influence. The United States, champion of democracy and capitalism, feared the spread of communism. The Soviet Union, a communist state, sought to challenge American hegemony. This ideological battle played out on multiple fronts: espionage, propaganda, and proxy wars. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought these tensions to a boiling point, threatening to engulf the world in nuclear fire. October 14, 1962. A United States Air Force U-2 spy plane soars high above Cuba. Its mission routine reconnaissance. The pilot, Major Richard Heiser, snaps photographs of the Cuban landscape, unaware of the explosive secret they hold. When the film is developed, analysts at the CIA are stunned. The photographs reveal the unmistakable presence of Soviet nuclear missile sites under construction in Cuba. These missiles, capable of reaching the United States within minutes, represent an existential threat. The discovery sends shockwaves through the American government, triggering a crisis of unprecedented proportions. President John F. Kennedy assembles a group of advisors, the Executive Committee of the National Security Council, known as ExComm. They're tasked to advise the president on how to respond to this grave threat. The world holds its breath as, for 13 agonizing days, ExComm debates the options. A full-scale invasion of Cuba is considered, but the potential for escalation to all-out nuclear war gives everyone pause. Airstrikes against the missile sites are also on the table, but the risk of civilian casualties and a disproportionate Soviet response cannot be ignored. The tension in the room is palpable as the weight of the world rests on their shoulders. Section 5. The Quarantine and the Brink of War. President Kennedy opts for a course of action that walks a fine line between firmness and restraint. He announces a naval quarantine of Cuba, effectively a blockade, to prevent further Soviet shipments of offensive weapons. The world watches with bated breath as U.S. Navy ships take position in the Caribbean, prepared to intercept Soviet vessels. The tension is almost unbearable. Soviet ships, some carrying nuclear-tipped missiles, steam towards the quarantine line. The world holds its breath, bracing for the possibility of a confrontation that could spiral out of control. In the air, American and Soviet pilots engage in tense standoffs, their fingers hovering over triggers that could unleash unimaginable destruction. Section 6. Whispers in the Shadows. As the world teeters on the brink, secret back-channel negotiations begin. Robert F. Kennedy, the Attorney General and the President's brother, engages in delicate diplomacy with Soviet Ambassador Anatoly Dobrynin. The fate of the world rests on their ability to find common ground and avert catastrophe. Every word is measured, every gesture scrutinized. The pressure is immense, the stakes impossibly high. Both sides understand the gravity of the situation, the terrifying consequences of failure. The world, oblivious to these behind-the-scenes maneuvers, waits anxiously for news. Section 7. A resolution forged in crisis. Finally, after days of excruciating tension, a breakthrough emerges. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev announces the withdrawal of the Soviet missiles from Cuba. The crisis, which had pushed the world to the brink, begins to recede. A collective sigh of relief sweeps across the globe. The Cuban Missile Crisis, a terrifying glimpse into the abyss of nuclear war, ends not with a bang but with a whimper. The missiles are dismantled, the blockade lifted, the world breathes again, forever marked by the experience. Section 8. The Legacy of Brinkmanship. The Cuban Missile Crisis had a profound and lasting impact on U.S.-Soviet relations. Both sides, shaken to their core by the experience, came to appreciate the terrifying consequences of nuclear war. A hotline is established between Washington and Moscow to facilitate direct communication between the leaders of the two superpowers. The crisis also gave impetus to arms control efforts. The Limited Test Ban Treaty, signed in 1963, banned nuclear weapon tests in the atmosphere, underwater, and outer space. The world, having stared into the abyss, began to take tentative steps back from the brink. Section 9. Echoes of a Perilous Past. The Cuban Missile Crisis stands as a stark reminder of the importance of communication, diplomacy, and cool heads in a world teetering on the edge. It teaches us that even in the darkest of times, when the stakes are at their highest, dialogue and a willingness to seek peaceful solutions are essential. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, facing new challenges and threats, the lessons of the Cuban Missile Crisis remain as relevant as ever. We must remember the importance of clear communication, the dangers of miscalculation, and the need for constant vigilance in our pursuit of a safer and more peaceful world.